Howdy Tamers, and welcome to the reading of Digimon Liberator Debug Chapter 11 Part 3. Similar to my previous readings, I'm not a professional voice actor and I'm just one person doing their best. So if the voices change episode to episode, or even paragraph to paragraph, or line to line, I'm simply doing the best that I can. I recommend still heading to the official release on DigimonCard.com if this is your primary way of consuming the Liberator web novel. Partially so Bandai still gets the site visits, but also because each chapter, like Digimon Seekers, has art. Liberator also has actual visuals of any new card that's mentioned. While the mechanics of these cards are included in the actual reading, if you want to see the card itself, head over to the official novel release on DigimonCard.com. And with that out of the way, let's continue on to Digimon Liberator Debug, Chapter 11, Part 3. Debug, Chapter 11, Part 3. Darkness filled his field of vision. It was a world completely devoid of anything. This was neither Lacuna, nor the real world, nor even Cross Connectia, where they had been adrift only moments before. Zenith now stood in the place they called the Void. The only light came from the firefly-like particles of data emitted by his own body, and from the glowing halo in front of him that floated above Unchained's head. "You're really ticked off, huh? Come on, let's talk and make up already." Unchained chuckled teasingly. Zenith didn't answer. He was indeed furious. Furious enough to lunge at Unchained on the spot. But, frustratingly, the data making up his arms had been corrupted. To make things worse, he had lost an eye, throwing off his depth perception, and he couldn't accurately tell how far Unchained was. Guess I won't be throwing any punches then. The damage to Zenith's avatar data was done when he shielded Owen from the Black Emperor Dragon's attack. After that, his fragmented consciousness was sent through another game world before Unchained led him here, into the Void. More than anything, it was the fact that he'd had to protect Owen that truly irritated him. Zenith finally found the words to say to his partner. "Hey Unchained, ever heard of Gyudon?" Digimon Liberator Side Story, Debug, Chapter 11, Part 3, Zeno begins. "Gyudon? That's something you humans eat, right? I know of it, but obviously I've never eaten it. You know I'm not like you, don't you?" Beneath these words, Unchained seemed to be hinting, "Don't think of me as human," and in that moment, Zenith couldn't help but feel that he wasn't exactly normal either. He reaffirmed his impression that he and Unchained were cut from the same cloth. Zenith, the current Digimon card game world champion, elite pro gamer, a genius, undefeated, unstoppable, blessed with built-in aim assist, born to bend the rules. Although there were endless titles for him, his favourite was the force of nature who stands above all. This came from his reputation in the gaming community for not merely winning, but completely dominating the field, leaving the opposition not a sliver of hope. Zenith had a passion for winning that was practically obsessive. He had chosen the handle Zenith to signal his intent to crush everyone and reign undisputed at the top. But that aside, well, I'll continue even if I don't understand it. To me, you were supposed to be Gyudon. And that means quick and simple. Zenith loves Gyudon for two reasons. It arrives quickly after you order it, and you can scarf it down pretty rapidly as well. No other fast food comes close in terms of time-value ratio. When he first ate it in Japan, his mind was blown. For Zenith, efficiency was almost as much of an obsession as winning. It got on his nerves when his plans were disrupted or held up by anything trivial. "What happened to our promise to keep Owen Dreadnought out of this?" "Owen? Oh, that's why you're so mad then." Finally connecting the dots, Unchained clapped once to indicate understanding. Understanding, but not repentance. "The data of the Impel Dramon was from the digital world imported via Cross Connectia.
So when summoned into the Lacuna, there was no way to control them, and they're not exactly the type of Digimon that would follow my plan anyway.
Unchained admitted wrongdoing, but obviously had a clear conscience, and just wanted to get the conversation over with. A plan and a promise. When Unchained had asked him for help, Zenith had made his desires and requirements clear. He wanted a rematch against Owen Dreadnought on the grandest stage possible. When they at least came face to face in the Digimon Card Game World Championship, Zenith had come out on top. However, there was nothing dubious about how he won. The match itself was vexing and unsatisfying. He claimed to Owen that he'd won by fluke, but in truth, there was nothing fluky about it. He had been stoked. It was the biggest event, the championship finals, and just the opponent he wanted, the Crimson Dragon Blade Owen. Yet, he couldn't shake off the feeling that it would turn out to be a boring match. He realised his premonition was correct when he saw Owen let out a sigh just before the start, looking like his mind was elsewhere. Owen seemed somehow disappointed about the state of affairs, and this in turn disappointed Zenith. For Zenith, winning was pure joy. But it wasn't all about winning for its own sake. What he craved was the thrill of overcoming the odds, facing a formidable opponent and demonstrating that he was even better. But he knew such victories were rare, and might even be out of reach one day. And that was why he felt like this. It was a thirst for adrenaline that had motivated Zenith to climb his way to the top of multiple games. Owen denied Zenith the thrill he sought by failing to bring his A-game, and that infuriated him. He was intent on getting Owen to play him again, this time fully focused, so he decided to cooperate with Unchained. He even agreed to hand over Vemon, who was his partner Digimon since he started Liberator. It didn't matter to Zenith that he had already claimed the crown in the real-world card game. Liberator was a new stage, and a valuable new opportunity. You know, if that guy gets serious, he could actually beat me. Here's the kind of treat I've been starving for, and yet he was almost taken out of the game. Unacceptable.
I really don't get why this whole battling thing matters to you so much. It seems pretty pointless.
Enough. How could everyone be so oblivious? It was bizarre to Zenith how others could even go on living without seeking adrenaline. It's beyond comprehension. Perhaps it was a normal human nature to lack such a drive. If so, Zenith didn't mind being considered a monster. And if he was a monster, then Owen was too. You can't remain as the Digimon card game world champion for that many years without being an adrenaline junkie.
The debugging team has plenty of strong players, right? Can't any of them scratch your itch? Cool Boy, maybe?
Unchained's question was met with a snort from Zenith. He had already challenged Cool Boy, having detected his strength through scent. He even imagined that Cool Boy might be the one to satisfy his thirst for a rival. In the end, Cool Boy brushed off his challenge, and he went up against his partner Omekamon instead. His victory, then, was never in doubt, and there was no thrill, no joy. He won't meet my requirements. He's like you, same scent. Zenith felt that Unchained and Cool Boy were alike. Although their abilities most likely rivaled his own, they lacked self-interest. They misused their strength, seeking to fulfill some great cause at the expense of personal gain. This was massively at odds with Zenith's ethos of self-perfection. He made a peeved expression, but Unchained simply shrugged and shook his head like he was uninterested, like always.
You don't want to make life easy for me, huh? I wouldn't say I regret choosing you to be my insider on the debugging team, but I can only put up with so much of this nonsense.
You have to keep your promise.
Can't you think about anything else besides that silly promise? You really are irritating, but I suppose I do owe you.
Unchained clapped, and there was a shrill noise. A portal emerged between the two of them, and something familiar stepped out. Humanoid, but far from human. with a sleek white chassis. A battle NPC. What, you expect me to battle this with my body all busted up?
Hold your horses, partner. In fact, this is a present for you.
Next, Unchained brings forth 3 flat rectangular objects, mirrors, reflecting Zenith from the front and each side. They show just how badly his character data polygons have been damaged. Standing behind him with an eerie lack of presence is the battle NPC.
I get that you're desperate to battle Owen. Well, lucky you, I am going to keep my promise.
And what does all this have to do with that?
Don't worry your not so pretty little head. I'm going to arrange everything. First things first, you wouldn't want to battle with that body, would you?
Just then, the NPC dispersed into a cloud of data particles and began to wrap around Zenith, starting from his feet. His body was gradually overwritten. Oh. The process was almost like that of zipping up a mascot costume. When finished, Zenith's character data had been drastically converted. Fully robed and fitted with a mask, just like the NPC's face, Zenith's vision had been improved and his movements made lighter.
Hopefully you understand now that I'm not the kind of AI that lets down their partner.
Unchained continued, explaining that the time to enact their plan had arrived. They were going to use a massive in-game event, the conclusion to Digimon Liberator's main questline, to lure in players and harvest their character data.
You need to play the part of the NPC Zeno.
Zeno will be the event's final boss. Up against the best player in the game disguised as an NPC, players will inevitably be defeated one after another, losing their data as a result.
Anyhow, I don't know how exactly exceptional Owen Dreadnought truly is, but if he is the real deal, he'll come and try and stop the event. He is a debugger after all.
He'll definitely win all other battles, make it to the end, and face you again. At that point, you can decide what you want to do.
It's sure to be spectacular, right? I'm keeping my promise and then some.
Finally! At last! Inexplicable joy surged through Zenith's body. He had been convinced that his corrupted data would prevent him from battling Owen again, and so he had fallen into despair. He thought Unchained had either forgotten the promise or decided to ignore it, but now he realized everything had been planned one step ahead. So I can battle him! I'll finally get to battle him! That monster will definitely take into the wire. Heck, he might even beat me.
Are you listening to me? I don't mind either way.
Even so, Unchained goes on,
as worthy of an opponent he may be, surely you're not down with losing.
Obviously. Zenith responds automatically. Regardless of the opponent, the notion of losing is always far from his mind. Our battle may end up looking close on the surface, but I'll keep just enough in reserve to secure the W. That's how the best of the best do it, and that's me. Knowing that he might even die, Zenith still smiles, anticipating an incomparable thrill. This was an emotion he cherished, the sort of feeling that you get vicariously when watching action movies.
Huh? All right then. Glad to hear it.
Smiling calmly, Unchained remembers something and reaches into a pocket.
I still need to give you this.
An item all Digimon Liberator players are familiar with. A deck case with a circular display embedded in the center. D-storage. One thing is different about it, the colouring. Unlike the standard model, the exterior is black, and the elements around the display glow purple.
Say hi to your former partner. Yours again now.
Vemon! Calling the Digimon's name brings it forth from the D-storage. Vemon, a level 3 with an eye-catching visor and purple torso. Zenith's former partner. This artificial Digimon had its data used to keep Maquinamon alive.
If you want a redo of the World Championship or whatever, then you need to have the right deck, surely.
It's actually quite scary how thorough you are. As Zenith reached out his hand, the Digimon gave a silent nod and came closer. He remembered now. Vemon had always been quick on the uptake, just the kind of Digimon that he liked. I'm grateful for this, Unchained. I'll do anything I can to repay your kindness.
That would be truly wonderful in that case.
With a finger snap, Unchained summoned a large portal that enveloped the 3 of them. It looked like they were about to be sent to Lacuna, but who knows where. As Vermon entered the portal alongside its partner, Unchained's lips curled into a gentle yet twisted smile. Zenith, or rather Zeno the aberration, also grinned, baring his teeth and nodding. Given the dark colour of his mask, Vermon couldn't tell whether its partner's eyes were smiling. Was this really the right thing to do? No. Vermon's cognition protocol immediately rejected the doubt as it surfaced. Being used as a tool did not matter. What mattered to Vermon was that it could help fulfill Zenith's wish. "I'm counting on you, Zeno." Without so much as a glance in Vermon's direction, Unchained gave his partner a friendly pat on the shoulder. To be continued. And that is it for Chapter 11 Part 3 and Chapter 11 overall. The next chapter for this batch of novel updates is Chapter 12, so we'll look forward to that when I get to it. So in any case, you can contact me and stay updated, leave me your comment on this episode on YouTube to join in the conversation. And for a full list of ways to find the podcast across the internet, such as YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, and Twitter, head over to my Linktree, which is linktr.ee/LostinTranslationmon. If you enjoy the podcast or videos or even my silly little posts online, you can show support by signing up on Patreon and get some cool rewards and help me hit some milestones. And thank you to my current supporters on Patreon, Stephen Reeves, who is Wildly64 on Archive of Rome, Kadawashi, Chisai, who can follow on Twitter at Chisai236, Neobu, who says you should follow Chisai on Twitter at Chisai236, Lismet, who is Lekmon on Tumblr, Nicholas, Magnus, Lucas, Jason105, Patrick, Jason, Shelby, Digital Hazard, who's on Twitch at The Digital Hazard, Tropimon, Vmon Tamer, Kasai, Big Bad Beetleborg, Flavin, Maruna, Bent Archer, Cappy, Cyber, and Voltic Halberd. You can also make a one-time donation on PayPal, which can be found linked in the description. It's paypal.me/Ergemon. You'd also donate to me on my Coffee account, which is ko-fi.com/Airdra. And again, thank you so much for listening. If you're listening/watching on YouTube, do the like, comment, subscribe, etc., etc. And of course, I'll see you in the next video. Bye!